Welcome to Season 4 of Cooking with the Kansas Dad. The kids and I, and my fiance Lena. Yep, that's right. Kansas Dad is no longer single.
There are hearts breaking wide open all over the world tonight.
Well, he is now engaged.
Engaged!
First family vacation with my fiance Lena, her little boy Toby, and my 4 kids, LD, Molly, Quinn, and Avalon, who you've seen in various episodes. We went to Aspen, Colorado. The week that we were there was the week of the Food and Wine Classic. 2 things I like: food, wine. Lena and I both had the opportunity to go to a couple of the events, a couple of the panels, live food demonstrations. I saw a live demonstration from Richard Blais. An incredible experience. Very inspiring. It's made me want to get back and doing his videos. I know it's been a while since the end of Season 3. And everything I'm doing is coming from Richard Blais's cookbook, Try This at Home. We're going to make the burgers, and these burgers are going to have candied onions on them, and bacon, of course, because you know me, bacon. And as a side dish, I'm preparing onion rings, and I actually watched him making onion rings with a beer batter. The candied onions that go onto our burger actually take about 45 minutes to an hour to prepare. So we're going to start with those. I'm using the same onions. Basically, the larger rings I cut off will be for the onion rings. The smaller pieces in the middle will end up being what we use for the candied onions to put onto the burgers. Now, if I can do this without breaking it, woohoo! There we go. So this will basically end up becoming an onion ring. So the goal is to get several of these, about, you know, obviously each one is a little bit smaller. But the larger ones we're going to use for the onion rings. We have these smaller ones, and these are going to end up being put for our candied onions to put on the burgers themselves. The very large pieces that are essentially rings, these are going to be our onion rings. Smaller pieces that I'm going to further kind of cut up, and these are going to be our candied onions to go onto the burgers. Now the onions are squared away, it's time to move on to the garlic. I am a big fan of minced garlic. Use this in almost everything. However, we are going to go a bit more traditional because my fiance Lena actually grew garlic in her garden. So we have legit, actual, real garlic. I have my piece of garlic. Now I'm going to attempt to figure out how to, you know, the thing you're supposed to do with garlic. Yeah, this is a new experience for me. We'll see how it goes. So first, let's just get rid of the stem piece. We'll cut off this kind of butt. Now, already, what we have here is, you can see multiple cloves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cloves, roughly. Which actually should be plenty for the recipes, or for the 3 recipes that we're using it for. So, as with the onions, let's just peel off the stuff. The bacon that I'm baking is actually to put on the burgers. There may or may not be any left by the time the burgers are made. I'm going to try to save some, but you know me. You guys, if you know me, you know me. You know I can't not eat the bacon as I cook the bacon. I have peeled the outer layer off of the garlic, and I've got little garlic clove things going on. And these have kind of a layer or wrapper on them too. So I'm going to try to figure this out. Like I said, this is new to me. So I'm kind of splitting it up as best I can here. We have 8 cloves of garlic here. For our candied onions, we only need dose. I think this is what I do. So I take my knife and I'm kind of crushing So yeah, now I have that. But we need 2 tablespoons of butter. And this has been sitting out for a while, so it's all nice and melty. We have 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter in our saucepan, which we have over medium-high heat. So we're going to let those melt. While those are melting, I'm going to go ahead and take basically, you know, all these small pieces of onion that we had left after pulling out the onions for our onion rings, and we'll just kind of cut these up a little bit. I know, I can't not eat bacon when it's there. Somebody should come hide the bacon from me. Alright, our butter is melted, so now we're adding all the onions. Now, in essence, all foods naturally have a little bit of sugar in them. When heated, these sugars begin to brown, also known as caramelizing. Alright, we've got our onions in there. We're going to go ahead and put in a little bit of garlic we have, and then our thyme, which is 9:10 p.m. Okay, we're going to stir this up, and then we're going to go ahead and actually cover it. Now this is going to cook for 45 minutes to an hour. We will occasionally stir it. For the first time after, well, 3 complete seasons, Cooking with the Kansas Dad is finally on Twitter, or I'm following Richard Blais. I uploaded a picture of the live demonstration, and I commented on Twitter about how fire trucking awesome it was watching his live demo. And literally, as I am in the middle of filming this episode and cooking from his cookbook, I get a reply on Twitter thanking me, him thanking me on Twitter. So that's fire trucking awesome. We're going to move on to preparing our onion rings. Love onions. So we're going to take a mixing bowl and put all the onion rings into the mixing bowl. For buttermilk. Okay, so going back to our candied onions. Okay, we have one thing left to add. That would be our red wine vinegar. Now, Chef Richard uses sherry vinegar in this recipe. Dylan's had cooking sherry, did not have sherry vinegar. I had red wine vinegar already. I'm kind of improvising. You know, it happens. You do that. So, we've got our red wine vinegar. We're going to go ahead and add that in. Now, whatever brown bits are left in the pan, you want to kind of scrape those up, mix them into the onions, and basically we're going to cook this until the liquid evaporates. Now, going back to our onion rings, so this is basically 2 cups of just all-purpose flour. Our batter we're making tempura style. I have sparkling water here. It's cold. That aids in keeping the batter light. We're going to mix it up, or we're going to leave lumps. Now, the combination of the cold water and the lumps will make a batter that will be very airy and light, which will make for a very unique, fluffy and crisp onion ring. How much of this am I supposed to use? Okay, so we want 4 cups of the sparkling water. I was probably supposed to make that go in nice and neat. Oh, now I get to add my favorite ingredient, or one of my favorite ingredients, beer. Chef Richard says a 16-ounce beer, and I found this. Now, first of all, this is a local beer, Manhattan, Kansas, so I like local. Second of all, y'all know I'm a giant freaking geek, a huge video game nerd, like old school, Pac-Man, Galaga, Atari 2600, which I still have one that works. So this is pretty awesome. This is old school Atari graphics on a beer. How could I say no? The bare essentials: a teaspoon of honey, Almost every morning we'd wake up to find fresh bear tracks. Yeah, they were getting there in the middle of the night and snacking on the new vegetation, new flowers that the gardeners planted. There, honey. Unfortunately, we never actually saw any of the bears. Well, that would have been pretty frickin' awesome. So, everything's been added to the bowl here. Now we just gotta whisk it. Or, as we like to say here on Cooking with the Kansas Dad,
mix that shiz.
Decker, Decker, you don't know what that'll do to you. Decker, don't.
here's our candied onions. I actually did right. That is perfection. It looks like glue, but once you put this on your burger, I'll tell you right now, it smells amazing. This is literally candied onions. Oh my god. Mmm.
Dang.
So I'm heating up some oil. We're going to take our rings of onion, and we pull them from the buttermilk. We put them into our batter. Let some of that shiz drip off. We put it into the extra flour, the flour and salt mixture, and then that is probably not hot enough. Okay, this is a little piece, like I broke off a piece of bacon. It's okay. I still have bacon left over for the burgers. So the first batch actually got a little bit overdone. That's okay, because my beautiful fiance is now...
Let's not do this.
That was the first batch.
It's supposed to look like this.
Yep. So. And this is how tempura style is. They're light and fluffy. The batter is very airy. Mmm. Oh my god. Oh, so good.
Okay.
Oh. What do you see? Now look.
That's me.
Alright, now we're ready to actually begin to make our burgers. Let's put our bison into a mixing bowl. Chef Richard says to use a 1/4 cup of whatever type of barbecue seasoning you want. In this case, we're using some of this. I love this stuff. I get it at Dillon's. I'm sure it's available elsewhere. We have our cast iron skillet, and we're going to add Evo. Heat's on high. We're going to leave it till it smokes. Okay, the oil is now smoking. This is the smoking point. 425 degrees for extra virgin olive oil. So now, we're going to take our patties, and using a wooden spoon, we will put little indentations in them. This helps keep them from shriveling up. This is also why I no longer have a smoke detector in our kitchen. Butter. Half of the garlic cloves. And half of the thyme. Alright, as we fry our patties, we're going to keep spooning over all the juices back onto them. Chef Richard says to use a badass English muffin. 2 slices of bacon. Then sliced tomato. Candied onions that we made.